What if the boy who shook the world with his voice, dance, and stage presence had been carrying a silent promise in his heart for over a decade? What if every stage Jungkook stepped on, every trophy he held, and every note he sang was part of something far more personal, something meant for someone who never stood under the spotlight? The story of Jungkook, BTS's youngest member, the Golden Magne, is widely known for its explosive success and global impact. But hidden beneath the gloss and glitter is a truth that even his most loyal fans failed to uncover. Since the beginning of his stardom, Jungkook has been silently doing something beautiful, selfless, and quietly powerful for his mother. Fans have long known that Jungkook holds a strong bond with his family, especially his mother. In rare interviews, he's mentioned her influence. But those mentions seemed casual, fond memories of childhood moments, or humorous anecdotes about her discipline and care. It was easy to overlook. But recent revelations have stirred waves across the ARMY community. It turns out that since his debut in 2013, Jungkook has committed himself to a quiet ritual of devotion. Not flashy, not for the press. Just a boy turned superstar, staying true to a promise made before the world knew his name. The secret? Jungkook had been setting aside a portion of every performance paycheck, not for luxury, not for investments, but to create a lifelong security net for his mother. From day one, even when BTS struggled for recognition and earnings were modest, Jungkook instructed his management to funnel part of his cut directly into a separate savings account under his mother's name. No public announcements. No social media flex. Just a consistent, humble act of love. It wasn't until late 2023, during the lead-up to his golden solo era, that whispers of this gesture began to surface. A former Big Hit staff member, in an off-the-record conversation with a trusted Korean media outlet, revealed that Jungkook has always been the kind of son who puts his family before fame. He once said that no amount of spotlight matters if his mom isn't smiling. This story quickly became a wildfire on Korean and international forums. Yet there was no official statement. Jungkook, true to his nature, neither confirmed nor denied the reports. Instead, he continued as always, rehearsing, performing, laughing with fans, sharing small snippets of his life, but never mentioning what had now become the most heartwarming secret of his career. Was it really a secret, though? Or was it just the kind of quiet dignity that only someone like Jungkook could carry? And this is only the beginning. Because what Jungkook did for his mother wasn't just financial. It wasn't just emotional. It was something that would weave through the next 10 years of his life, affecting his choices, his music, and even the way he showed love to the world. Before the lights. Before the sold-out stadiums. Before Golden Magne became a title whispered with reverence across continents, there was a quiet field under the Korean night sky, and a boy walking beside his mother. Long before Jungkook was BTS's youngest global phenomenon, he was simply John Jungkook from Busan, a curious, spirited boy with dreams far too big for the small city he was born into. He once shared in a rare interview a seemingly simple memory, one that barely caught attention at the time but now carries a profound significance. When I was a child, my mother and I often went to the field to exercise at night. Why does this matter? Because that field wasn't just a place of movement, it was a sanctuary. A place where mother and son met away from the noise of life, where they stretched their limbs and hearts in equal measure. It was there that his mother first noticed his natural rhythm, his quick footwork, the way he mimicked dance moves from the TV with uncanny ease. And it was there, walking hand in hand under the stars, that she whispered her belief in him, before anyone else did. Those nightly walks weren't just about health. They were rehearsals for the life that would come. While most boys his age were caught in the everyday, Jungkook was preparing, subconsciously training with the only cheerleader he had, his mother. This early support wasn't just emotional. She was the first to make sacrifices. When Jungkook told her he wanted to audition in Seoul, she didn't hesitate. She packed his bags, wrapped food for the road, and whispered blessings through tearful eyes. "Make them see what I already know," she reportedly said. And Jungkook's mother wasn't stage side when BTS debuted. She didn't bask in her son's early fame. She stayed in the background, still his anchor, still his quiet support. And in turn, Jungkook never forgot those walks. He carried the feeling of that field into every dance rehearsal, every vocal take. The calm, the presence, the encouragement, it all lived within him. Perhaps this is why, even amidst chaos and fame, Jungkook has remained grounded. His roots run deep, not in glamour, but in that small, quiet Busan field where a mother's love first shaped a dream. So when people ask, how did he stay so humble? The answer lies not in training or image management. It lies in the whispered affirmations of a woman who walked beside her son when the world hadn't yet turned its gaze to him. But that was just the beginning, because while the field was where love began, it was in the years that followed, through struggle, fear, and unimaginable success, that Jungkook began secretly building something even bigger for the woman who believed in him first. And the next chapter, we uncover the turning point, the audition that changed everything, and the letter Jungkook wrote to his mother before stepping on that train to Seoul. It was early morning in Busan. The sky hadn't yet decided whether to hold the stars or let the sun rise. In a small, modest room, a young Jungkook sat cross-legged on the floor, pen trembling slightly in his fingers. He was about to leave for Seoul, to chase a dream bigger than he could explain, but first, he had something to do. He wrote a letter. It wasn't long, just a page or two. But in those few lines, Jungkook poured out everything he couldn't say with words. Gratitude, fear, determination, and most importantly, a promise. A silent vow inked in shaky handwriting. Iyama, I will not come back empty-handed. I will become someone the world knows, and I will take care of you for the rest of your life. He folded the letter and placed it beneath the small bowl of seaweed soup his mother had left on the table that morning. A final breakfast. A silent blessing. He didn't wake her. Maybe because he didn't want her to see his fear, or maybe because he knew he'd break if he saw hers. That train ride to Seoul was more than a physical journey. It was a symbolic crossing. From childhood to adulthood. From safety to uncertainty. And that letter was the bridge. A young boy's written contract to repay years of love, to carry his mother's hopes on his back no matter how heavy the load would become. What's astonishing isn't just that Jungkook made that promise, it's how meticulously he kept it. Even when faced with rejection from multiple agencies during his early auditions, he didn't break. Even when the trainee life at Big Hit nearly broke him down physically and emotionally, he never forgot the inked words beneath that breakfast bowl. Years later, during a fan Q&A, Jungkook was asked what motivates him the most. He paused, smiled softly, and said, "My family, especially my mom. I promised her something when I left home." He never elaborated. He didn't need to. The letter wasn't meant for the world. It was meant for one person. But its echoes can be felt in every single decision Jungkook has made since. From the moment he joined BTS as the youngest member, to the way he fiercely trained his voice and dancing until he became the most versatile performer on stage, that promise never left him. Even in his quiet generosity, like secretly paying off his parents' mortgage or investing in long-term plans for his mother's comfort, Jungkook's actions whisper back to that letter. Not in grand declarations, but in real, lasting commitment. Did he come back empty-handed? Hardly. He returned to Busan not with fame, but with fulfillment of a promise. A promise written in ink, but lived in every breath he's taken since. But this promise wasn't just financial. It was spiritual. A bond carried from that tiny room in Busan to the biggest stages in the world. And next, we'll step into the life Jungkook lived in secret after BTS's debut, a dual world of idol and son. When the world saw Jungkook for the first time in 2013 during BTS's debut performance of No More Dream, what they witnessed was an explosion of raw talent, youth, and determination. The youngest of the group, with sharp moves and a defiant stare, instantly captured attention. The stage was where the world fell in love with the golden magne. But off that stage, in a quiet corner of a shared dorm room, a teenager was still trying to be a son, still trying to keep a silent promise made years earlier in a letter no one else had read. Being an idol at 15 is not the glamorous life many imagine. Training schedules that stretched beyond midnight. Endless evaluations. Public scrutiny at every turn. Jungkook, though naturally gifted, was under immense pressure to constantly prove himself, not just to his fans or company, but to someone far more important, his mother. While BTS's success began to climb slowly but surely, Jungkook lived two lives. One as the budding global star, flashing lights in his face and crowds chanting his name. The other as a devoted son who called his mother late at night, sometimes just to hear her voice. He rarely complained, but when he did, it was only to her. Despite the tight training regimen and debut stress, he remained committed to the goal: build a better life for his family. He reportedly insisted, quietly and without public notice, that part of his early earnings be sent directly home. Even before his name became a household term, he wanted to ensure his mother had one less thing to worry about, and she never asked. That's what made it even more powerful. She didn't demand. She didn't expect. But Jungkook, who remembered the homemade meals, the support at dance classes, the belief when no one else believed, knew what he owed. It wasn't about money. It was about gratitude. Behind every performance was a message. I'm still keeping my word. As BTS's popularity soared, Jungkook's dual life became even harder to balance. Cameras followed him. Fans scrutinized every move. But one thing remained untouched: his privacy about his mother. Unlike many celebrities who shared family photos or brought their parents into the limelight, Jungkook kept her in the shadows, protected from the chaos of fame. Why? Because in a world where everything about him was public, she was the one thing he wanted to keep sacred. And perhaps this is what defines Jungkook most. Not just talent, not just looks, but the ability to live for others without making a spectacle of it. He could have posted tributes, done interviews, flaunted his generosity, but he didn't. He simply lived his promise. Every day, without applause. But even the quietest love can sometimes be seen in moments when the curtain slips. In the next chapter, we'll witness a rare and powerful moment. The one time Jungkook almost broke down mid-performance after spotting someone familiar in the crowd.